Boom! Hit the wall. Oh, damn. It didn't show the meme. Oh, boy. That was my mistake. I thought I had it up. G'day, everybody. G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. And I think most people know what I mean when I say they hit the wall. Actually, I think I miskeyed there. I saw an article, right? And yeah, I never thought I'd be invisible at 24. And I went looking for more information. And along the way, I lost track of the article. And then I realized that it was unimportant. The reality is, was on X. You know how X refreshes, and when you go back to try and look for stuff, it's actually not in your history. So this is, of course, a response later on, but still, I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people thought the wall was the 50, right? Women menopause, then, then, there was the cope, 40's the new 50, 50's the new 40. But then, increasingly, women starting to get more and more political, more and more toxic. And I think it reflects in not just in their mood and attitude, but women are immature well into their 35. But around 25, a lot of women are fading out, right? Already by 25, women fertility has fallen. They've overstimulated. They're starting to suffer the side effects of their drug and alcohol abuse. There are many reasons why women hit the wall early. But we can't always blame drugs and alcohol. I think a lot of it is toxic personality syndrome. But you know who hits the wall the fastest? Lesbians. They hit the wall the fastest. With studies showing the highest speed in UK, 75%, the lowest speed in Denmark. And that's only 50%. Whereas heterosexual couples are actually statistically half the divorce rate of lesbians, right? And actually the lowest divorce rate is homosexuals, which obviously sets the immediate noticing off that the pattern recognition, right? The common denominator in divorce rate is women. And you don't need to know why, because no matter what the reason, when they go to court, it's you're an abusive asshole. Because they want to maximize their profit, right? But long before marriage was linked to no-fault divorce rates were almost nothing. Almost nothing. Divorce has existed in some form or another, right? You could force cohabitation. Women always, you saw TV shows in the 50s, women would run back to mother. There was no, the stories women portray in the 50s and 60s, there's no fact behind their paranoia or their delusions, but kids today don't learn, right? They're indoctrinated with slogans. But women turning down 50% of men when they're ugly, well, that's because daddy didn't give them a spanking now, isn't it? But the reality is, it's feminism.
Screw your feminism.
And do you know what turns most women toxic?
You like eating red carpet, tough guy?
Yes!
Say you like eating red carpet!
I like eating red carpet!
Giggity.
Yeah, it's an obsession with carpet eating. And more men, and of course,
emotional damage.
and speaking of emotional damage, we have the coop. The coop. Of course, the coop. Now, notice how she's talking about fully developed as an adult at 25. No. It's actually 35, you bitch. But she smoking. So there's your first red line. Bang! Now, of course, she's told she's past the prime and hit the word. And of course, what shall we say to her? And we know what turns most women toxic. And of course, it leads them to cheat. Emotionally, physically, whatever. But when women hit the wall, it's for many reasons at the same time. Their physical attractiveness declines, their mental acuity declines, their productivity declines, their general mood declines, their mood swings increase. They generally cannot hold conversations. They're increasingly obsessed with emotions. Their emotional maturity is decreasing. Their mental maturity is decreasing. While they may have some increase in functional logic when it comes to learning how to manipulate. Remember, it's everything a woman does is from the point of accumulation. So if their accumulation and self-gratification is not met, they will use all their faculties against you, right? But it's predominantly led by their emotions, particularly in dating, where women refuse to settle down because they always have an option. And all of a sudden, the athletic-looking men who have endurance and rugged individuality, right, the attractive traits of a young man, initially, older women would attract young men, but it was always because young men knew they could plough the field without consequence. But increasingly, they are finding old women cum buckets and turning to younger and younger women. And yeah, with the high availability of birth control, more and more men were. But now, of course, as we see a rise in mgtow around the world. Now, interesting enough, in Korea, women hit the wall hard. By their late 20s to mid 30s, they become they become part of what's called the invisible generation. This is where people do not acknowledge their existence. Men will avoid them, right? Many young Koreans, 19 to 36, are single. 70% currently not dating. Right? So those who are single, the majority are not dating. By 2035, 1 in 3 Korean men may never have had a date, will be single for life. This is a shift in priorities, not just an economic or social shift, but an individual shift where cultural phenomena no longer apply because women have simply decided to destroy society. So men have given up on women. While women, however, are driven by a fear of decay. They do anything to combat the decay. And a lot of their accumulation is accumulation of, and it has been for centuries, appearance alterations, right? Where increasingly attractive clothes, increasingly exposing more skin, increasing their promiscuity, because it was at some time, 17th century to about mid-19th century, a woman smelling of sex was deemed highly attractive. Women wouldn't wear perfume. The men were driven, to smell. Women would tuck handkerchiefs between their breasts and drop the hanky in. The men who picked it up and sniffed it, and she would measure their horniness. So there's fundamental changes throughout society that have driven this phenomenon. Now, some, and I'm not saying all women, right? But the likelihood of cheating is between 20 to 50%. So, and this comes because society won't but it's always the man in the eyes of the woman. Everything is your fault, everything, and there's no changing that. So there's no reason, right, once a woman becomes toxic, to ever believe that she will be anything but a cheater, a liar, a accountability dodger, a garden tool. Or full of shit. But yes. Spoken. Yeah. Well, society. Yes. I like this one. I like this one animated. That's King Baldrick. He's a good guy. But women, increasingly with their politics, I mean, she's already hit the wall. She's just hiding it behind her makeup and her cope and seethe. But men, increasingly, are just saying, well, bye. So long, Felicia. And we wave goodbye. Yes, there is new redeeming the garden hoe. We all have seen this through history. We all know, right? It's often encoded in our experiences, whether we remember them or not, from the time we start to walk and talk, right? The way girls shift further and further. When you're growing up, you go to school, you meet girls, you meet boys, you play in the playground. More and more, the teachers try to congregate you all together, but you form your shifts, you form your groups, and increasingly, girls go from liking you to getting you to do things for them, to then wanting you to do their homework. Then when it's hanging out, it's always valid. They're just searching for validation. They're increasingly immature, right? Women are supposed to mature faster, but increasingly we're seeing more and more immaturity. Now, this could be due to the alleged increase in estrogen in the water supply, if you believe that. But most psychologists believe that it's a mass psychosis, and that women are copying bad behavior. They see the bad behavior in TV, movies. So pretty much, if you want to know how a woman is going to turn out, or man for that matter, is you look at their hobbies, their music, and most importantly, you may think it's the movies, but it's what they read. And increasingly, women, and it's been for a long time now, at least 3 centuries, have been increasingly pornographic, where they get off into reading books about men who basically are simps. And so the idea in the modern era that women have gotten more toxic, it's the cycles, right? Rise and fall, like trends. Some trends you could do a video one day and it will explode because that's the trend. It's a trending topic. But you try to milk that topic, or it's the only topic you're an expert on, and all of a sudden you lose your views because once people have absorbed enough about one particular topic, I think they increasingly just want entertainment. So I'm going to try and be educational, as entertaining as possible. I may have to make less videos, space it out more. Who knows? I really appreciate all the views I can get because at the end of the day, I want to educate you. I want you to have the situational awareness that I and many others have developed. I mean, a lot of you come from Outlaws and Baddie Commander's channel. Hopefully, Phil and others, but all of them, all the channels before me, I've encountered the same pattern. They have already developed their situational awareness. They have honed their critical thinking, and they are highly entertaining. So I hope to add my experiences to the pool and educate and bring before you can tell I'm I'm older, and I'm not saying that older is always more wiser, right? Because there's plenty of wise men out there, but I think if we don't have enough voices and we don't have the momentum, right? Because populations are driven by momentum, right? If the more momentum men and men's groups have, the better the outcome for men, right? One of the biggest problems it has for men for thousands of years been war, because it strips you of your rights, right? And it just shows you, right, that society only sees you as a tool to be disposed of. And now that we're living longer, having less wars, women are now increasingly, right? Because remember, most men died before they reached their full maturity. Most men, right? World War One, World War Two. Most men of that period never got to have children. That was a genocide of white Europe, right? It didn't kill the rotten people. It killed the good people, right? Millions of good people died to be replaced by narcissists who cry and whine and complain that nothing's ever good enough. And this has, of course, led to many men, particularly young men, to
Right turn, Clyde.
the right turn. You are taking that right turn. You are whether you call it taking the right turn, red pill, black pill, or simply eyes wide open. Situational awareness is developed from experience, consuming videos from multiple sources. So hopefully, we can all rise together. Don't forget to hit that like button. It helps defeat the good old algorithms, right? Let's YouTube and Rumble know that those are the videos you want to see and hear, and the people you want to hear from. Of course, subscribing helps. That's more to do with social approval. the more people subscribe. But yeah, that's a social approval thing. When you're listed, the higher your social approval, aka subscribership, the more likely you are to be up the list. But when it comes to individual videos, if you're not liking them and not clicking, if you like them, click that like button. Otherwise, they're not recommended to people in other people. That's how algorithms are very simple. But yeah, they do weight them by words, which is why it's so important for us to ask for you to like, share, and subscribe, because it's the only way to defeat the. Because remember, the feminists, they have they're collective. They artificially rise each other up, but as they decrease in number, then we will rise past them and shift the momentum back and reclaim our space. Until then, keep on keeping on. Those who know the 70s know what I'm talking about. So thank you. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my watch. All my links are in the link tree, description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code on the screen. If there was some more chat, I would have opened up to, forum. Well, let's see what happens in the future, shall we? See you in the next video, and bye for now.